Hello my friends. How did we get here? Today's video, we're gonna take a walk to the SAG AFTRA WGA picket line. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about how we got here to this point over the years and like what's really going on. And I've talked about it a little bit before, but I just want to get into it a little more in depth so that you can understand from an actor, filmmaker perspective what's happening. So, good morning. I have my iced coffee and we're gonna get right into it right now. As a DVD, you know, you can mail in and return DVDs and see as many as you want. You just basically, you watch one, send it back, order another one, they send it to you. So it started like that. Now, after that happened, filmmakers began to kind of like give their catalogs to Netflix. So they would have a certain amount of movies in their old reserves and they would give it to Netflix for a fee per movie. So if you're talking like big movies, you know, they would pay a good amount of money for the big movies to have in their whole, you know, Rolodex of movies for people to watch from the DVDs. By the way, we are just walking on DeLong Pro. We've been on this street before, and it's a lovely neighborhood street. It's quiet, so we're walking on this one so that you can hear me and I can speak without trying to talk over cars. So now you have this business model that's been put out into the world where people can see a lot of movies for nothing. Just being able to, you know, see a lot of movies for nothing, basically. So it changes the psychology of watching movies so that people begin to expect to see a lot of stuff for nothing. And before Netflix, you know, there was distribution companies, and you know, so there was, films would sell their own DVDs and make money on rentals and Blockbuster and all that kind of stuff. So the big deal was to get your film into like Blockbuster rental and Redbox rental and those kinds of things, and you know, sell the DVDs and get it up on different channels on cable and, you know, that kind of thing. And that was how it was. We're gonna cross the street where it gets a little quieter. And then along came Netflix and changed the whole game. So what ended up happening was film companies would start using Netflix as a distribution platform. So in Netflix, to the bigger guys, you know, it's like that's gonna be a pretty good paycheck, because they were paying, like, you know, for bigger movies, you know, thousands of dollars, so that, you know, you could see whatever would be on there, so that you could see, like, you know, Time Bandits and Rambo, you know, that kind of thing. And they would sell those movies to Netflix for a good amount of money. So independent filmmakers began to think, oh wow, hey, this is a great idea. Like, I can make a movie and just sell it to Netflix, and, you know, and hopefully break even and make the money back, you know, on the investors and that kind of thing. The problem is, for independent filmmakers, they would offer $1,500, $2,000 for the rights to your movie for 2 years. So, and at the time, and I heard this from many filmmakers, and I thought it was insane then, and I think it's insane now. Back then, they would be like, oh yeah, no, yeah, you put it on Netflix, And then, you know, it's going to give it lots of exposure so that you're going to make money on all the other rental channels. So where's the flaw in that logic? Well, I'll tell you where the flaw is. The flaw is that if they can see it for free on Netflix, they're not going to go pay for it somewhere else. So basically, filmmakers began shooting themselves in the foot by selling their film that they made for whatever they made it for very little money to Netflix. And that's the problem with the whole industry, because there are no residuals on Netflix. So like basically, or there weren't, you know, I think that's actually what the strike is all about, because Netflix, and then we'll get into Amazon Prime here in a second, but these things that have no accountability to streaming and how many people see it and how much money they're making off of the films, basically what they ended up doing was just like getting a bunch of, you know, movies, and they're just making money, and the filmmakers are no longer making money. So you see the problem. There's this movie that I was in and that I was a producer of, and it ended up going to a distribution company that thought that it would be a good idea to put it on Amazon Prime first. Now, as we go back to what I said earlier, what happens when you put your film on a free marketplace? That's it. It's dead. So you just gave your film away for nothing, because Amazon Prime, you know, I think back in the day was paying like a penny per view or something like that. So people in their minds were like, oh yeah, this is great, I'm gonna be able to reach millions of people, and if I only have, you know, 10 million people watching my movie and I got a penny per 10 million people that watch it, that ends up being a good amount of money, right? So that was the logic. That was the why people did that. However, those companies don't market your film, so they're making money because you're sending people to their platforms to watch your movie for free, and you're not getting anything back. You know, maybe, you know, a few dollars a month, maybe, you know, and that's off of your hard work to sell it to the market, to get your fans to watch the movies, you know, that you have spent all of your time and energy making. So basically, I remember I got onto the phone with the head of distribution to this movie that I produced, and basically read him the riot act. So I own 7% of that, of this unspoken film. I own 7% of it. I have not seen a nickel, not one dime from it. And these things, like, as a filmmaker, you kind of count on, you know, it's like, okay, well, yeah, so if I'm putting all this time and energy and effort into things, you expect to have, it's a business, so you expect, as you're going down, to make money on these things over time. So as I'm on the phone with this guy who just thought he knew everything, basically telling him, you just killed this film because he put the film on Amazon Prime first, and then all the other things, whatever else those other things are, and the film hasn't made a nickel. So that is a microcosm of what's going on with Hollywood today and the strike, and why this strike is happening. Because basically the big movie makers, the big movie companies, Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus, you know, all these things where there's no accountability for how much money they're making off of the film, they make all the money. So all those rental subscriptions and all that kind of stuff, it's going to the big companies and not really making it to the filmmakers. And that, my friends, is why this strike is happening. So you've got a lot of people who actually put the time and effort and that make movies happen. So yeah, so basically the big guys make all the money and the people that make the films don't. So that's what it's all about in a nutshell. And so yeah, don't know how long, you know, these strikes are gonna happen, but this has been a pivotal thing in the industry. And yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see how it all comes out. You know, I could see many different things happening. That's why we're headed to the strike right now. I just wanted to give you an idea of like what it is about. So that's what it's about. So that when you see these people that are on those picket lines have made their lives about, you know, this passion, you know, for making film, of which I also have and would like to be able to make a living at it, which is a fair thing to want. So yeah, so these people you're about to see, that's who they are. They're the filmmakers, they're the dreamers, you know, and that's it. And no, these people are not rich, and that's what this is about as well. You know, how do you make a living, you know, doing something where the big cats are making all the money and they're not paying for the artistry of it all. By the way, before we get down there, if you could do me a huge favor and support the Patreon, Kyle Hester Actor Guy, I'll leave a link right here, probably. Kyle Hester Actor Guy, I have different levels, $3, $5, $10, and right now it's all going to finishing or helping to finish Preacher 6, which is the film that I've been working on, that I am the producer of, and also play one of the lead roles in it. So yeah, so you can help actually independent film get made by checking out the Patreon. And also this shirt, you could buy this shirt. I love indie film. I love indie film. I know you do. So yeah, those are a couple of ways you can support the channel, and that's in the link in the description as we head over here to the strike at the Netflix building. So I don't think I'm gonna talk to anybody there, but I'm just gonna give a little walkthrough, little music, so that you can see what's happening. And who knows, you might recognize some faces in there, but I'm not gonna stop to talk to anyone in particular. But if you do recognize anyone, let me know. And I don't know who I'm gonna see, so I don't know if we will or not, but that's what we're doing. So next up, the picket line.